Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this exclusive webinar on tech recruitment, and we'll be learning about how we are going to build winning partnership between HR and IT. Josh, he's taking care of our ERP operations at RChilli, and Nikhil is taking care of CSM. He's currently working as manager, and I am your host for today. Have an intensive discussion about how we can build, winning partnership between HR and IT. So to begin with, let's understand how can HR and IT teams collaborate effectively to streamline the tech recruitment process and bring the best talent on board. So let's begin with you, Josh.
The biggest piece that needs to happen is there has to be open communication. The IT team, they're responsible for the systems that everybody else in the company uses. There needs to be clear, constant communication between those needing the systems or seeing new technology and working versus those who have to implement it. That's always been the biggest problem, because I can't tell you how many places I've been where people have said, oh, there's this new solution that, will allow us to do X, Y, Z. The problem with it is integration of said system. That is the problem, because I've worked at companies where implementation times could be 3 months or longer. I've worked at companies where, when it came to the actual integration, this solution required, certain APIs to be available that whatever they were working on did not have. So it's not, the hardest part in today's day and age is understanding that not all solutions play well together. They really don't. And getting them to do so can sometimes be more trouble than it's worth. When you look at your IT team, I am continually working with our developers on the RChilli side to tweak products, come out with new products, new functionality. But one of the things that's always, forefront of my mind is I'm not the only one they're working with. They have a full workload. They don't just sit around waiting for, oh, this guy, this person wants this project done, let's do it. If they were, they wouldn't be employed because there's always, different pieces going on. It's being able to understand the workload, the time frames, the IT team has. They're the ones responsible for getting it running. The HR team needs to understand that and have those discussions. I've worked at organizations where it has been, I've told this story internally many times, where sales and CSM battled each other because sales was selling things that the CSMs could not deliver. And then CSMs and IT, or the technical side, battled each other because they were delivering things that weren't how it was supposed to be. Clear, open communication here is the biggest benefit. It's the biggest piece that is going to allow any business to thrive. If they understand, each person's troubles, pain points, etc., then it's only going to move along that much smoother.
I think Nikhil will add new perspective to this.
See, whatever Josh just said, I couldn't agree more, because before coming to RChilli, surprisingly, I've been on the other side of this industry as well. When I'm talking about the other side, I've seen the pain of recruiters. I've seen it very closely, because in most of the time, recruiting is something which is a very time-bound business, right? You're looking for the right kind of talent, and you want to find them at the right time, and you want to make sure that you get them to the hiring manager before the position actually closes. So they have this struggle going on every day when they start their day. So what RChilli is doing for them is it's making their life easy. At the end of the day, as Josh said, it's as easy as a turnkey solution, right? The moment you implement it, the RChilli system integrates so beautifully for you that it will make sure that it'll parse the resume, get you the right sort of information that you're looking for. Because in these resumes these days, you see a lot of information. Some might be relevant to you, some might not be. As a recruiter, you want to look at what you're actually looking for, right? So RChilli does that so beautifully. It'll parse the right kind of information. You'll see it right in front of you, and it'll make your evaluation process so easy that you would simply say that, wow, where was I? Because earlier I've seen recruiters doing recruitment from those paper-based resumes, right? Those were the days. And now,
Hey, Nikhil.
Yeah.
Quick question for you.
Sure.
At your previous organizations,
Mhm.
what was the relationship between the IT team and the HR team?
Not one of the sweetest at times, because sometimes I've seen them wrestling in a very, not in the actual way, but in a technicality where HR is looking for a certain thing, IT is going in a different direction altogether. And in the end goal is getting defeated by a long margin. So yes, the relationship was never pleasant.
And that's, to me, that's one of the, establishing that relationship, setting the boundaries of it is probably, to me, one of the most important aspects. Understanding each side has to understand the pains of the other, because it's two completely separate workflows, methodologies, mentalities. And I think all of us, everybody in HR agrees that, hey, when we get a job, if we don't get that job filled in X number of days, problem's about to happen. But the IT team is looking at it going, hey, this is our work schedule. This is what we have to do. This is, we've got this project and this project and this project. And just there needs to be a clear communication between the two, because one side's playing rock and roll, the other side's playing classical music, and they don't really mesh that well.
Absolutely.
You've actually given a gist of what I'm going to ask next, but still, how we are actually bridging the gap between HR and IT in tech recruitment processes. Let's begin with you, Nikhil.
So as I said, RChilli is making sure that we are making the life of a recruiter, of the whole hiring process easier, right? Hiring process itself is really difficult. Finding the right person, getting the right person engaged, and then getting the right person to the right hiring manager. It's a long process. How about we make that life easy for any person who is looking for the right sort of talent? So RChilli does that really, as I said before, really beautifully. We will make sure that we will extract the right kind of information that is to be presented, right? It should be presented to a recruiter in a very structured manner. And this is done in a flash of a couple of seconds, right? So who wouldn't want that sort of thing? I, as a recruiter, want to spend more time in engaging the actual candidate rather than going through his resume. And after spending good 10 minutes on the resume, and later on, manually, I find out that, you know what, this is not the right fit for me. And I've just wasted 10 minutes. That kind of information, if somebody can present to me within a couple of seconds, right, in a more structured way, then I can spend my time in engaging that candidate rather than just going through, reading through that paper document or any kind of document, maybe a PDF or a Word, and maybe put my time into a better use by engaging a actual candidate. So RChilli does that really nicely. And I'm surprised when I came over here and I saw that, I was like, wow, where was I before?
Anything you would like to add, Josh?
Was going on about how the solutions work for the recruiters. That's all well and good. That's the important part at the end of the day. But for the IT people, their focus is on how hard is this to deliver? And the ability to implement, a solution in as little time as possible. The end goal, and again, I apologize. I always try and make this not a product demo, sales pitch, anything like that. But the amount of work that we put in when it comes to designing a solution to make sure that it's easy to implement. One of my key products right now is our solution within Oracle. And it takes all of 6 minutes to install. That is probably, for other tech companies out there, that's probably the most important thing to think about, is how hard is it to implement whatever solution. Our main focus is that it has to be, basically plug and play. When we started our ERP division with an integration with PeopleSoft. If anybody on this call has used PeopleSoft in the past, any new integration within PeopleSoft is usually a 3-month or longer ordeal, and it's not pleasant. Our solution was implemented, 5 steps, took 30 minutes. And the whole goal behind that is HR has tools that they absolutely want and need. But if they're not easy to implement, then that creates the friction, because IT has to spend more time working to get that product working. And then there could always be those issues of, okay, now this product is interfering with this, with this other solution. It's throwing reports off. That's a whole separate ballgame. But the end goal is HR has solutions that they absolutely need, but how hard is it for those solutions to be implemented?
Josh, can you share some specific examples that we are using for collaboration between HR and IT teams?
We, on my side, dealing with ERP, it's all about, whether it's Salesforce, whether it's PeopleSoft, whether it's Oracle, whether it's SAP, the whole goal is we want it as easy as possible we want to make it as easy as possible for the IT teams to deliver so that the HR teams can use. We focus a ton of time and effort to ensure that it's not just, I'd say 50% of the effort is based on how easy is it to implement. The other 50% is how effective is the tool for HR. Whereas in a lot of cases, you have companies that it's 80% how effective is it to HR, 20% how easy is it for the IT to deliver. IT is a necessary part in any company using technology. Their plate is full. You're going to hear me coming on the IT side on this because the number of times, I've had, whenever I have issues and, or new products that are being delivered, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm working with our IT team based on what their order of projects is, so I know when I can expect this to be delivered. It's a key piece. I view this, open communication between the departments, reducing that friction, reducing the, competition or animosity between, departments, to me, is probably one of the best things that you can spend time to do. We all have our different jobs, but we all are working for the same end goal, which is, making the company successful.
Nikhil, have you seen any issue raised by you being solved in fraction of minutes in our organization?
See, before coming to RChilli, because I've been into the IT domain from a very long time, most of the time what I see is, as a CSM, whenever a customer comes to me saying that they are facing a technical issue, we try to go through the IT, try to report the issue, try to communicate, because as a CSM, I'm the voice of the customer to the organization, right? So most of the time I've felt in the past that there is a lot of red tape. As Josh said, IT is backed up most of the time. They will say that, okay, we know what you're talking about, but we cannot spare that much time right now. With RChilli, what I've seen, the best thing is any kind of query that comes in, our team is very proactive. The moment we will discuss something on it, they will jump on it right away. We will work very closely and we will ensure that we are delivering what a client is looking for. So personally, there are a lot of organizations. As I'm a customer to somebody else at the end of the day, right? I am paying somebody some money. What I would want in return of my payment is I should get the kind of response and the service that I'm expected, right? So that kind of personalization that the customers get from RChilli is something which is very unique. Over my past career of like more than 15 years, I've never seen that sort of human touch coming into picture before RChilli. So that's like a different domain altogether, and I love it.
Josh, this question is particularly for you. Can you mention some unique features that we offer that can streamline the tech recruitment process and lead to more effective partnership between HR and IT?
We offer a number of different solutions, but when we sit there and breaking down the piece between HR and IT, the key part behind that is the main users of our solutions is HR. The people who implement is IT. And so, the end, at the end of it, it's really the only time where, that cross-pollination comes across is when HR has to hire more IT. And so I'll say this, having solutions in place that allow them to quickly, easily find the most relevant candidates, get them in for interview, and then onboard them, that's hugely important. But at the, when you look at this, the key part, if we're talking, bridging the gap between HR and IT, the key part behind it is HR has to select products that are, worthwhile. They have to select the product that works best for them, but also is easy for IT, easily implemented. That is really one of the, that's kind of the golden ticket. I mean, one of the things I've always said in the past is good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick two. If you want it good and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If you want it good and cheap, it's not going to it's not going to be fast, etc. I look at what we're offering now in Oracle. So our standard offering works very, is for candidate profile import when candidates are applying. The new offering that we just released is allowing recruiters to upload resumes into Oracle quickly and easily with both drag and file upload as well as email integration. The key part behind that is the effort required by IT to enable it, which is thankfully very, very minimal. For the new solution, it's not quite as easy as the original. It's not 6 minutes, but it's still not weeks. It's, actually it takes about 30 minutes to set the right permissions, and then everybody's good to go.
Anything you would like to add, Nikhil?
Just like Josh said, how many technology companies that you have heard in the past that can implement their solution in less than 30 minutes? I have never come across something like that. And we have the ability to do this for any of our clients. That's why I said right in the beginning, a turnkey solution. You do this and it's there. We make it that easy that, like, it's a pure human nature. Now, anytime anything new comes in, people face a little difficulty in adapting it. However, our solution is so easy, it integrates so beautifully within their existing system. People don't even realize how their life suddenly is changed, and it made it so easy for them. So we are that easy, and that's the reason why I've gone on so many calls with Josh at times, and I've seen how people are impressed when we demonstrate the product in front of them, and they were like, wow, how come we have not using it so far?
That's amazing. So another question that I have, how do you think, what are these effective ways which we can use to evaluate and qualify the recruitment process?
The best part about RChilli skill extraction feature is it ensures the IT team receives the details insight into a candidate technical skills, which is the most critical thing for anybody, right? This eliminates the manual need of a skill assessment, which enables IT to focus on evaluating the candidates in a deeper technical expertise during the interview and assessment. At the end of the day, as I said, I've seen those old days where people were going through manual paper resume, right? We've taken that completely out of the picture. Now they are able to focus more on the actual assessment rather than having to go through those long resume, reading through it. Some people may understand some skills, some people may not, right? Our system is so intelligent, we'll do it for them. And that makes it very easy for everyone at the end of the day, right?
Anything you would like to add, Josh?
When it comes to HR departments and what they need, when we look at today versus 10 years ago, most of the people working in HR that I know, the number of positions they're trying to fill has increased tenfold. I mean, each recruiter is having to do more work in less time. The workload has gone through the roof. And so when you sit there and look at the technologies out there, every technology that the HR team is using needs to focus on making their use of time as efficient as possible, period. Because they have to find the right candidates, they have to shortlist them, they have to get them to the hiring manager. If they're practicing unbiased recruiting, well, now that's time they have to spend blanking out specific information on their resume. There's technology that can do that. If you look at every aspect of a recruiter's or talent acquisition or HR position, anything that they're spending time on. If it's data entry, that can be automated. It needs to be automated. They don't have time for that. Their job is to get on the phone, speak with these people, get them vetted, get them through the pre-screening process, get them on to the hiring managers to make those decisions. Every single aspect that happens along that way that is a manual process slows everything down. And it's not, that is where they need to look at what solutions they can get in place. Again, going back, talking with IT on how can these solutions be implemented. It's not, today's day and age, we're doing more with less, more with less. That's all it ever boils down to. You look at, we look at recruiters 10 years ago. They might be filling out, they might be working on 10 different jobs. Now they're working on 50 to 100 different jobs, trying to find candidates for all of those. Same workload, or not same recruiter, expanded workload. And part of it is because there is technology out there that helps, but now you've got to sit there and look and say, okay, what else can be automated? What else can be, simplified? Because the end goal is you're never going to take the recruiter out of it. They need to be there. That human touch has to be there. But how can you make it all those other aspects leading up to that human touch as easy as possible? Again, the problem with that is where does that fit in with IT and what they're able to implement in that time frame? And I hope you found today's session informative. If there's anything else, please don't hesitate to reach out.
And also, if you want to meet Josh particularly, you can come to Oracle Cloud World.
I'll be at Oracle Cloud World in September and HR Tech in October, both of which are in Vegas. So,
thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Josh, for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.